Welcome to the 8-Bit Cat Show, What You Watching edition, a place where friends geek out over the nerdy things we love, occasionally with cats. Fluffy cats.
Yeah, did you see her jump? You screamed.
Good. I'm your host, Stephanie Katz. With us tonight, Zach.
Hola.
Peter.
Hi.
And Chum.
I'm back, bitches.
Yeah! You had a good vacation?
Yeah,
Also,
it was good.
Bailey's
It was
here.
very relaxing. It was a very
Good.
good time. Went out to Tennessee, saw some waterfalls, walked around. Pretty good. Fun time.
Good,
It
good.
was worth it.
Glad to hear it.
Can you go on vacation again?
Yes, absolutely. No problem.
Please.
Fuck you guys. I quit.
You can't quit. You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired.
So we're gonna kick this bitch off with some Cowboy
Wow.
Bebop.
Wow, we got some strong language this episode.
That's what I'm
Started
here
it.
for.
She did.
She started it.
Oh, Christ.
So Tom actually watched Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Cowboy Bebop. It was pretty good.
So I will open
Are we ever
this.
going to say that correctly?
Never.
Okay, good. Just
I,
making sure.
I said it right the first time I just said it, and then I messed it up on purpose. Listen to me when I say
I don't think you said it. Anyway, Cowboy Bebop, what are we talking about?
it. So we watched the first half, right? And then I went and he was at work, and I watched the entire anime in one day. And then we went and watched the other half because I was like, oh man, I want to have like a reference because I don't remember it. Apparently, in doing so, I found out that I have really only watched one episode ever of Cowboy Bebop. And it was the episode with the goopy slime where everyone like almost dies because Spike puts the lobster in the refrigerator. So
pretty much you watched the most un-Cowboy Bebop episode of Cowboy Bebop, and that was your entire experience of the show prior to this moment.
This was very enlightening for me. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, again, I will say I love that episode that apparently is the only one you've seen, but it is basically a filler episode in the anime.
No, right. So, overall, my experience with Cowboy Bebop. Boop Ba Da Bop. I really liked the live action up until the second to last episode. When they left Ein on that planet.
so
Fuck that show.
So it's just when they abandon Ein, you're like, nope, I'm done. Which was the smart move.
It truly was.
It was 100% the
Don't
smart
care.
move.
They didn't even go back for him.
Yeah, fuck that dog. He's a spy.
That's not true.
Okay, he's an unwitting spy, but he's still a spy.
They go back for him.
Well, they don't really.
Before we kind of
The
get
after
into
credits scene in the end of it, he comes back, but they don't go back for him.
So before we get into like some of the other nitty gritty things, overall impressions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask overall.
I think it's one of the best live action adaptations of an anime that has been done.
I'll agree to that.
Peter watched the first episode. I'm sorry, go ahead.
To me, it seemed like cosplayers trying to poorly recreate the show.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I couldn't. I barely got past the first episode. I was just so annoyed at everything that I was seeing.
Cowboy Bebop is his Masters of the Universe.
I don't know.
That's like the level on which we judge everything.
Well, so I'm always going to be a little skewed against live-action anime adaptations because the main reason I like anime is that it's animated. So if you take something that is animated and looks really good like that, and then you put it into something that's live-action that just kind of looks okay, I'm going to like it less.
I thought it looked really good.
They recreated a lot of stuff, but you can't... Some of the action scenes in Cowboy Bebop it just have really fluid momentum to them. They look really good. And you're not going to be able to replicate that in live action. It just can't be done.
I mean, I don't think they did a terrible job.
Again, I didn't. It's not without its flaws. 100%, it's not without its flaws. But I think you should try and give it more of a chance.
Go into the mindset of
It's not.
This is Cowboy Bebop, but it's not.
It's really
Cowboy
an homage to Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Is really what it is.
Yeah,
I would be less bothered if it wasn't trying to point-for-point adapt it.
It's not.
It's not.
No,
100% not even close to trying to point for point adapted.
So
it follows tropes.
I can understand why because you only watched the first episode, why you would think that, especially because the opening credit is pretty much a scene for scene recreation.
The only thing they change is that they have 3 different guns instead of just Spike's gun.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end, there's no Ed. It's just the 3 of them.
Well, yeah, cause
but as you actually go through the series, they did take a lot of things from the anime, like a lot of the characters and everything, but they changed a lot of the story points, and they flushed out a lot more of like some of the character backstories, like especially with Faye. You kind of get I felt like you got a lot better sense of who she was and why she was going, like why she was the way she was.
Did you say flush out?
Yeah. Flushed out the character.
You would flesh out a character. You would flush it out if you were trying to get rid of it.
Oh, whatever.
Which I thought you were being accurate, and then you changed your entire thing there.
No,
like,
both are accurate. I mean,
they fleshed out. They fleshed out a lot, and they flushed out a lot too.
Yeah. Because the Faye development was pretty good. And that was actually pretty nice.
They definitely
and
changed.
They got rid of a lot of the nonsense.
Yeah,
some of it.
There's no filler episodes.
Yeah. It literally just
actually,
follows.
there is like one filler episode where when Jet Black's going to like watch his daughter's recital.
Oh yeah,
and,
that one.
And like you don't even see the entire fight scene in the background.
But that also was
that
more
was
of
part
a
of
Faye episode too, because you were getting the backstory between her and her mother.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. I'm not gonna lie, and that's one of the moments that really felt like Cowboy Bebop to me, because a lot of the original anime, the funny parts, it's not necessarily any quips they're making or like jokes they're making. It's the visual sight gag that something weird happens. They're all you're like, wait, and they just blow past it and don't even talk about it. And yeah, that one was a great scene because it's Jet Black sitting there in some holographic representation of a little kid's elementary school watching his daughter be, I think she was a tree or some shit.
No, she was like
a
planet.
Oh, she was the sun.
Yeah.
She was the sun. You're right.
She was the sun.
They were doing the planet.
And he was dancing with her, and then
which was
pan
great.
back to him, and he'd be dancing in the bar or wherever he was,
Yeah.
and they'd be in the
The
background.
little
fighting.
bodega.
Yeah, and freaking and freaking Spike's just murdering like 50 dudes that are all fighting him at the same time.
No, I mean,
I liked a lot of it. There's a lot of it that was really good. Honestly, the fight scenes were really well choreographed.
yeah. I went into that.
It wasn't quite as like you said, Peter. It's never going to be as smooth as like the anime, and like they're not going to be able to make it quite as dynamic as that. But they did a really good job. They used the same kind of they used the actual martial arts that they drew the animated Spike's martial arts to be based on. They used the actual form of martial arts in the show, and they had whoever their fight choreographer was did a fantastic job. I need to look it up because that guy lady was great. Mm-hmm. They did a solid job.
I mean, Peter, if you're going to watch it or even give it a chance, go into it thinking Cowboy Bebop, but don't think of it as the anime Cowboy Bebop. Like, it follows the tropes, follows some of the storyline, but it changes a lot, and the storyline for both is completely different.
Like the end is totally different than the anime, and like when we first watched it, Zach was pissed.
I've grown on it a little bit, but I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm like, mostly it just pissed me off because I am, again, a fan of the original. And I love it so much, I think, because it is a self-contained story. It is over at the end. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some interpretations like, is he dead? Is he not dead? What could go on? But the whole point is that story's done. And if he does go on, we don't ever need to talk about that story ever again.
Right.
That's Spike's story to go live on his own life. He finished everything he needed to do. Let's leave the poor guy alone. And on this one, they're like, let's set it up for season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't even get Ed until the
post-credit scene.
The post-credit scene of the final episode.
Also, that put a sour taste in my mouth, too. And I read a great article on why I think it did put a sour taste in my mouth.
Here's my thing.
What the fuck? Why does it take so long for Ed to show up?
So,
the
I don't know if you read the same article I did, but the reason they did that is because the director and show creator really wanted to flesh out Spike, Jet, and Faye before they introduced this crazy, wild chaotic character because Ed was going to take a lot, and they also had to find the perfect person to play that character because it's not.
I guess
not an easy character.
Yeah.
I will say that was not the one I read that really encapsulated my feelings on it, because I think they did a good job of changing the characters enough and like changing up their looks a little bit and making them feel less animated and more real and grounded in the world. And the problem with Ed was
He's not real or grounded.
no, they did it exactly how they did it in the anime. The casting's perfect. The costume choice is literally the only one that is exactly like it is in the anime, and it got just real uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It honestly got like, well, that doesn't fit with any of the rest of the show because they changed the show so much, and then you didn't change that character at all. It really just didn't fit anymore because they had changed the world that they were living in so much.
Yeah.
I think the
What the hell?
Oh, you're looking at pictures?
Yeah, I think the original, like, the first moment when you see Ed was very Uncanny Valley, but, like, after, like...
In
Ed
the
was,
anime?
No, in the live action. The first moment of it was, like, because the camera angle was just weird, and it was supposed to be that awkward view, but then when it was panning back and forth between the two, like, it kind of got out of the Uncanny Valley, and you kind of saw, like, body figure.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. But it was still... I know Radical Edward is supposed to be over the top.
Yeah.
But it was too much for how they had done with the show.
I think that's why they put it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because they're like, hey, we're going to introduce this really fucking crazy character.
And to be honest, like,
let's throw it in here.
especially like I said, I went and binged the whole series when we were like in between season 1. I really, 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 really appreciated them doing that because, controversial statement, I hate that character.
Hey,
like
Ed.
a lot. Like a lot. Like, annoys the shit out of me. And I was like, I will put up with it because I like the show, but God, I just want to punch this kid in the face.
But Ed's like the best part.
Truly is.
Like
in
she
the
said,
anime. Yeah.
controversial opinion.
Yeah. And
That
there's-
being said, the live action Ed looks like a nightmare creature from the abyss.
Yeah,
So-
if you watch when you get to that ending credit scene, like you kind of get a little turned off to the whole ending of the show because just the way Ed came off.
It was a really poor way to finish it off.
Yeah, I think if they did it a little bit differently, like introduced Ed like walking up rather than just sitting there and being like, hey, you know, and it was just like, yeah,
Yeah,
Like, if
but,
they
like-
normalized the character a little bit rather than making it too radical,
Yeah.
because
That's
that's what they did.
Bring the radical in a little bit later.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you would have had people going, well, that's not even radical
Yeah.
Edward. Who's regular Edward here going on here?
They were just trying to make Ed as crazy as possible to make it work.
And it just, it hit wrong, especially with the tone that they had just ended the show with.
Yeah, I mean the show ending was
Well, I also
Hard.
think it's also trying
Like-
to set you up for season
Yeah,
2 to let
hard.
you know that, like, season 2 is going to probably be a little more nutty and off the walls.
yeah. I mean season 2 is going to be a completely different storyline.
Well, yeah,
Like,
because
Yeah.
there is no storyline.
there is no
that-
storyline. It is,
They're
gonna be a
making
fresh,
it up.
Yeah, it's going to be a fresh story.
Yeah.
Which I'll appreciate because I have so many questions.
Yeah, I'll appreciate it.
like I
You
said,
always have questions.
she does.
I'd ask them, but, like, I don't want to necessarily ruin it for you because I do think you should at least give it a chance.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, like,
Yeah, no.
spoil how
That's
they...
how I was watching the first episode. I'm just like, I'd rather watch the anime, and then I did, and I was happier.
Go into the show thinking Cowboy Bebop, but not Cowboy
A
Bebop.
loving homage to Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop.
It's, what, 10 episodes?
Yeah, I mean,
So I'll make you a deal, Peter. If you can make it to at least episode 5, I'll spoil the ending for you.
You should just watch episodes 5 through 10.
yeah, I mean,
Or
you'll
watch
catch up a little bit.
watch the last 2 episodes. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah, but I think you'll get a little bit more. Like you won't get as much out of it.
Oh, I know you won't, but you'd be fine. You'd at least get it. If you really don't want to watch it, just watch the last 2 episodes.
Just watch it.
Honestly, just watch it. It was pretty solid.
It was worth it.
Like I said,
it wasn't like Dragon Ball.
No.
You know, where you watch
Oh,
the
God,
live
no.
adaptation, you're like, oh my god, this is cringy. You know,
And it definitely wasn't like Death Note. It wasn't
or Death Note.
No, it was honestly, it was well acted. I mean, what's his name? Jonathan
John
Cho.
Cho.
Yeah, John Cho did a fantastic job. I liked him a lot. A couple of my issues with it, just overall, were there was a lot of Whedon speak. If I'm using a industry term on that one, it was coined when Joss Whedon was doing Buffy. It's just that thing where they're saying a quip or just a funny line just to say a funny line, and it doesn't necessarily actually add anything to that. And there really isn't. There's a lot of banter and not a lot of dialogue in some scenes.
I mean, there's always banter between Jet and Spike.
No, but like it's truly just it does. But even in the anime, like the banter is more dialogue. It's giving more characterization. On a lot of that, there's like when they first meet Faye, it's just like,
Can I kill her? Just a little bit.
Well, like that part's funny. That's a Spike thing. But when she's like, "Do you think you could strap me to an even bigger toilet? Is there a bigger toilet for you to strap me to?" That's just unnecessary stuff like that. That's a very, or like, welcome to the ouch, motherfuckers, which is a great line and I love it, but is a very Whedon speak thing. It's yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Drooled
Yeah,
all
that was
over the
a lot
place.
of drooling. I just spit everywhere. I got passionate apparently. It's just I thought there was a lot of that I felt like could have been, because some of the dialogue is absolutely amazing, like when he's talking to other people and doing stuff like that. But a lot of the back and forth that they have, they're like, you could have cut that off 3 lines ago, and you could have actually moved on to something else.
Filler.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary filler.
Just moment filler. But no.
But I like, honestly, a lot of the changes they made, I liked a lot. And made a lot more sense than some of the stuff in the anime. You're like, wait, why the fuck would they even do that?
Yeah. Give it a watch, Peter.
Honestly,
I'm
it's
really
pretty good.
stuck on this image of Ed.
It's
Like,
weird.
why did they choose to try as hard as they could to replicate Ed's anime hairstyle?
Yeah.
And they didn't really try to do that with the
For
others.
anybody else.
I told you that was my issue with it.
Yeah.
It looks really weird and off-putting.
Because it's too much like the anime. Yeah, they should have updated it to actually try and be live action instead of just going all into a full adaptation there.
Yeah.
It looks like this version of Ed would belong in the Speed Racer movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Which I didn't like that movie.
I didn't watch that movie.
Though I like Emil Hirsch. That's the actor that plays Speed in the Speed
Yeah.
Racer movie.
Oh.
And John Goodman was great in it.
Yeah.
That part was great.
Great in most things.
There's not a lot of stuff that John Goodman's not great in. Real life, maybe.
So what?
Don't sue me, John Goodman.
So, abstaining Peter's vote for the moment. How many cats? I was holding it like a 6.
Yeah. I'd give it a 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah. It's not perfect and it's not terrible.
It's not bad in any.
It's
like,
a good. It's a watch. You can watch it and you can.
You can
enjoy
watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Again, they made this one for people who.
What?
I'm a little offended I wasn't allowed to vote. I was going to give it a 4.
You haven't seen
You
it.
watched
You haven't
one
watched it.
episode.
Yeah, and I knew that there was clearly a lot of effort put into it. I just didn't like what I was seeing.
That is higher than I thought. A 4 was pretty. See, I think this
4,
was.
4 out of 8 to me is perfectly average.
Like I said,
This is
that's.
about as good as an anime adaptation that's live action is going to get.
I honestly, that's a higher score than I was expecting from you. But I think this one, they wanted it to be more accessible to people who had never seen the original anime.
Yes.
Anybody could watch this and enjoy it. If you're a diehard ultra fanboy of the anime, you're gonna have issues with it 100%.
Yeah.
But I think if you get over yourself a little bit, you'll like it.
Yeah, Peter, get over yourself.
You may not like it, but you'll at least enjoy it. There'll be a lot of parts that you go, okay, that was pretty fucking great. All right.
Watch it, Peter.
I'm not saying you specifically, Peter. Need to get over
It was
yourself.
just the timing of me still being bothered by Ed.
Ed bothers me too.
It bothers all of us.
The last
Wait,
the
Ed-
last 15 minutes of the last episode pissed me the fuck
Yeah.
off,
No,
honestly.
that did ruin it for me a little bit because I was watching that and I was like,
The last 15
Even-
minutes or just Ed?
Ed.
No, the last 15 minutes
No,
pissed me the fuck off.
because the ending of the of the show was like pretty awesome. I actually like the way it ended.
Oh, it was great. If you're gonna try and do more story, yeah, that was an amazing way to do it. But it also pissed me off because I'm like, you guys could have just fucking ended it, but you're looking to get more money. You assholes.
I'm fine with them continuing it. It wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't a bad watch.
But it's also
What, Bieber?
The fact that they had Cowboy Bebop in its entirety on Netflix, and you can also still buy the Blu-ray relatively cheap, kind of implies that making this at all was them trying to get more money. But yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I guess my also thing, the ending there is, I'm like, even if we go forward with this,
shit's gonna go down.
It is not gonna be the same dynamic that we had in season 1.
No.
It's gonna be a
shit
also,
show.
can they even technically call it Cowboy Bebop in a season 2?
It's Cowboy Bebop.
No, honestly, I don't even know if they'll theoretically be allowed to call it Cowboy Bebop in season 2.
He didn't even hear you. He just completely ignored you.
Yes, I heard you. I'm moving past it. The Bebop's not even going to be there.
You don't know that. We don't know anything.
I mean, the ending of Cowboy Bebop in itself, Jet didn't care for Spike anymore. And in the end of the live adaptation, it was pretty much the same thing, but it was still left open that they could all kind of let bygones be bygones. And
it's a little more fucky right now.
If I see you again, I'll shoot you in the face. Is
still fucky, but
pretty fucky. Okay.
Still, at the same time, it was one of those things where it was fucky to begin with, and then it was fucky when the daughter was captured, and that really fucked.
That really got really fucky.
That's where it fuckied.
That's where it fuckied.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jet's got a kid in this one.
Yeah, that's in the first episode.
Yeah, that's just weird to me. I liked it.
They turned like a 10-second scene into a full minute-long scene where he's whining about how he can't pay for a kid to get a doll.
Oh, there's a whole episode about that doll, and it's amazing.
It is.
It's actually probably one of the most Cowboy Bebop of the whole episodes because it's great. And that's the one where they get Ein too.
Yeah.
That's not the same episode, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I think so. Yeah.
It
no.
is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
100%.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. It is.
No, because isn't Face Dude different than Dog Kidnap Dude?
No, Face Dude is Dog Kidnap Dude.
Oh.
Because he's pretending to be a black dude.
Yeah. Well, no, he is a black dude.
He's pretending to be a white dude.
Yes, that's the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the anime, he was
just a black dude. Yeah, who's based on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And he was just
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to something that Peter does super care about.
We might as well all just shut up and let Peter take care of this section for us real quick.
I want to know y'all's opinion on it as well.
Yeah, but we're gonna let you take the point on it.
I can definitely tell you, I didn't watch it. I have no idea what it's about.
Hey Tom, you should give it a chance. You should watch it.
It's definitely better than Cowboy Bebop. So it is kind of what I thought it would be. They're doing a loose adaptation of the Matt Fraction run for Hawkeye, but because the MCU version of Clint Barton isn't like a fuckboy and is married with children, and I have two people on the screen just fucking, I guess.
Zach is asking Tom to get him candy.
I was listening. I just want Tom to get me candy because he's not paying attention. Because he doesn't care. Oh yes, he brought the candy.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess it does kind of more
put together character. You can't have the Matt Fraction version of Clint exist in this world, but you still need that version of him to progress the plot because most of it's his fault. So they just made Kate the fuck up, which makes sense since she's new this time. By the time it happens in the comics, she'd been a hero for years, so it was a little weird. That and they did the just tell me y'all's thoughts on the series real quick.
I'll tell you my thoughts.
Go ahead, Tom. Tell us your thoughts.
I have no idea.
I'm really enjoying it. I really like Haley. I was like Heine.
You like Heine?
I like Heine. I like Haley's Heine.
It's not bad.
I don't want this chocolate. Why did you put this in front of me?
Chocolate.
I really like her portrayal of Kate. I mean, I like Haley Steinfeld anyway. I think she's an amazing actress. And I like her and Jeremy Renner's chemistry. I think they work really well off each other.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
Overall, I think it's fantastic so far.
So,
Favorite part though was when she finally gets to start using the trick arrows. I'm sorry, that whole scene.
There's a more dangerous arrow than this?
Yeah, she blows up a whole car, which technically she's the first person in the MCU since Iron Man to straight up murder people in her debut. Actual living human beings, and not like Chitauri or something like that. In a scene very reminiscent of
Ant-Man makes his enemy Yellow Jacket literally implode.
No,
Yeah.
he did that to
Yeah.
himself.
After that's like blaming someone whose cars exploded because there was a car bomb in it on the dude that started the car.
Well, he shouldn't have had the suit in the first place. No, but her first scene of actually being like oh, she's Hawkeye now, or she is a Hawkeye now.
Yeah.
She blows somebody up and kills 3 people, at least 3. But I do love that. Yeah, she blows up that fucking van, and she's like, "Wait, there are 4 more dangerous arrows than that one? What else was in this quiver, Clint? You fucking asshole!"
Suction cup arrow? What are you supposed to do with suction cup arrow?
Then I love that was the most useful one at the end. He's like, "Oh, thank God you saved that suction cup arrow." Oh, wait, I have to go back and get the suction cup arrow because we're gonna need that real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, the Pym arrow was fucking legit though.
It's technically a reference to the comics.
Yeah, no, but I loved that. Then I'm like, oh, they are 100% doing his real trick arrows
With a variation.
Well,
the
yeah.
Pym arrow in the comics launches like thousands of arrows at once downwards. That was probably more entertaining though, and killed less innocent bystanders.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You said you had a lot of questions for Peter.
Mostly it just I don't know enough about Hawkeye. The only thing I know him in a cursory example of basically the only thing I know him is he's the really the MCU version of the Green Arrow.
Pretty much, yeah. I at one point I knew who of those 2 characters came first, but I can't remember at all anymore.
I think Hawkeye did come first because Green Arrow was really just a knockoff of Batman.
Yeah. He was Batman, but with a bow and arrow. And everything he owned was called the Arrow, something like the Arrow Copter, the Arrow Cave.
Instead of the Bat, yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, I do have one question. I don't know if I remember that. Does Hawkeye have anything? Does he have a arrow with a boxing glove on the end?
That's Green Arrow.
No, that's what I'm saying. Does Hawkeye ever do that?
No.
No? Damn.
No.
I'm sorry. I know Green Arrow has that. That's his best arrow.
So,
I think
that's
it was
in the comic when it happens, the car chase. It isn't like a big Pym particle arrow that gets smashed and kills a bunch of people. It actually ends with Clint with a gun to his head and Kate with one of the trick arrows that she had previously been making fun of, called the boomerang arrow. That's what saves the day. She intentionally misses, comes back, hits the dude in the back of the head, and takes him out. The point of that
how do you
is
make
actually,
a boomerang arrow?
it's not explained.
Okay. I'm just
on
making
now.
sure that we all know
I'm not
that
gonna
the
give us some
physics on that
mechanics
doesn't
about
fucking
shit.
work.
No, it doesn't. But the point of that issue was literally just Kate gaining a degree of respect for the weird shit that Clint does.
For the really dumb trick arrows that he has, yes.
Exactly, yeah. Because I mean, they really have changed Clint and Kate's relationship from the comics to the show. In that, in the comics, yeah, she became Hawkeye, but she never really idolized him. She didn't really give a shit about Clint Barton. It just happened to be the costume she grabbed in the Avengers Mansion when she decided to be a superhero.
Well, Clint's also not as big of a douchebag in the MCU as he kind of is in the comics.
He really is not. Yeah, in the comics, he's still one of my favorite superheroes, but he's a huge asshole.
Well, and then the other half is I've been reading up on him a little bit more because I was trying to figure out a little bit more about it and see where this arc is going, kind of stuff like that. But I was reading one. There's in a lot of these comic book arcs, like basically on like Clint's day off when he's not at the Avengers compound or the mansion or whatever. his life kind of just is a series of mishaps that everything just goes to shit all the time. And I kind of like that, and I wish, and they're doing a little bit of that in this, and I'm like, I need to see more of that. I want to see Clint's life just. I would love to have like scenes of him calling Natasha, going, "You will not fucking believe what happened to me today." Okay.
So far, my favorite scene was the LARPing when he had to go to the LARP.
The LARP with grills, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty great. It's like, man, we got to make it look good.
I really hope they don't do this, because Grills dies in a pretty brutal way at the end of the Matt Fraction run.
They're totally
but he's
doing
also
it.
like a completely different character. So like they match the name, but that's about it. And again, it's by necessity that Grills' relationship with Clint is very specific and only really exists in the world in the comics where Clint's a bit of an asshole.
I was looking up the IMDb. He is supposed to be in 4 of the 6 episodes.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't in the first episode.
Like what I'm saying, he's supposed to be in 4 of the 6.
And
Question.
he wasn't in the third episode, was he?
I don't know, but he's supposed to be in 4 of the
So
6.
we've got 3 more up. Yeah, so we're good.
It means he's supposed to show up. I don't know.
How does the Ronin suit fit little itty bitty girl and this big ass dude?
The only thing I can think of is that is a reference to the comics, because there's actually 4 different Echo not Echo, but Ronin characters in the comics. There's Echo, Hawkeye, Blade, and I can't remember who the 4th one is, because I didn't give a shit. I think it was Daredevil. So initially, Ronin shows up as like a big bulky dude. Everyone thinks that it's Daredevil. It was originally going to be Daredevil. It was going to be how he joined the New Avengers, since he was one of the originally pitched lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But the execs didn't want Daredevil to be in the team at the time because he was going through too much like personal shit. So it's like, okay, no, you're not even allowed to have him as Ronin. So they changed it at the last second to be his current girlfriend, Echo, the villainess in the show that we're seeing. And she still looks like a big bulky dude. She takes the mask off, bottom, like this part of her, still big bulky dude, but different head.
I'm not ignoring you.
Never
I'm
explained.
just. I don't trust that cat over there.
I don't trust any of them. Okay. But it was kind of great because when she puts it on, like it both fits and does not fit at all while she's running around. You're like, oh, the pants fit, but like the shirt looks super big on her, but like the pants fit perfectly. What the fuck just happened there?
And you said his name was Grills?
Grills. Well, his name's Gil, but everyone calls him Grills.
He's bigger than both of them.
And it fits him too.
How?
It's a magic suit, obviously.
Magic suit, yeah, obviously.
Well, I'm excited to see where this goes.
Its superpower is making people want to fucking murder you.
If the arc is going to be this whole Ronin thing, then...
It's not really going to be that. It's about to... Well, at the end of the last episode, shit's about to actually go down.
But
so...
But isn't Yelena supposed to show up?
That's Swordmaster, right? I think is that supposed to be...
Swordmaster, yes.
It's going to be Swordmaster, right?
Wait.
Yeah, so we're finally getting Hawkeye actually fighting one of his original villains.
Her new stepdad.
Yeah, Jack.
Oh, right.
Jack Duchesne.
Yeah, who's actually Jacques Duquesne.
Yeah.
But isn't Yelena supposed to show up?
She is supposed to show up. We don't know when she's going to show up.
Next episode.
Probably.
Supposedly.
That being said, I really don't think the Ronin suit's going to be that significant for that much longer. It's just a way to get Clint involved in what's going on with Kate. If I had to guess, it's kind of off the wall because they changed a lot about Kate's origin, so it's the only thing that would make sense and still try to tie in some of the themes of her character. But one of the biggest things, when Kate was a kid, her mom died, and her dad kind of neglected her a little bit because he was a crime lord. He spoiled her rotten, basically. And when she finds out later, it's a pretty big moment of development for her, finding out that her dad's a crime lord. It's a lot, and I don't want to explain every bit of that.
I think they're gender flipping that. I think her mom's ended up being the crime lord.
I agree, but I don't think it's going to be a generic crime lord because Kate has exactly one character that can be considered her arch enemy, and it's Madame Mask.
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
thinking that's what we're going to get with this character. That might be our Madame Mask.
You think her mom's going to be Madame Mask?
Yes.
That'd be intense.
Right?
Like intense.
Intense.
It's like camping.
camping.
I like the idea enough that I'd be disappointed if it's something else, and now I know that they're going to do something else.
No, because they will disappoint you.
Yeah, right?
I have no idea what's going on.
It's okay.
No, I'm really enjoying it so far. I can't wait to watch the next episode tomorrow.
No, the whole sequence just of them breaking out of the KB Toys warehouse, which I thought it was amazing. And like their whole thing, like, you know how hard it is to find an empty warehouse in New York nowadays. They're all getting bought up by hipsters and they're getting gentrified. You're like, okay, the plight of the
tracksuit mafia.
First of all, the tracksuit mafia. What the fuck?
They wear tracksuits.
I can't believe they went with the tracksuit mafia. But
that's what it was in the Matt Fraction run.
It just makes.
Well, actually, it wasn't even called that. They just called them the tracksuits because that was the one unifying thing. They all wore tracksuits. They were all Russian, and they all said "bro."
I like the guy when she was like strapped on the
Imagine Dragons thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Imagine Dragons. Oh, okay.
So this is just a gift for you. This was a gift for you that you made your girlfriend upset with now.
You had to apologize that pretending this was a gift for her. Yeah.
Hey, I liked her. Her dialogue is pretty good. And then that whole sequence there where Clint's just doing ridiculous shit with arrows because he's Clint.
Yeah.
But he also runs out of arrows so damn quickly.
I like that he keeps turning his hearing aid off.
What I really would have enjoyed is just one bit, and hopefully they'll show it eventually, of Clint, after a fight is over, going back to reclaim the still usable arrows. It happens all the time in the comics, and everyone makes fun of him for it, and I love it.
Well, they shouldn't. Because it's the only thing that actually fucking makes sense.
Right? Natasha actually, I remember one specific, was like, why are you re-grabbing old arrows? Like, these are expensive. What the hell?
He's like, I'm on a fixed income.
Didn't Iron Man make him like the infinite arrow?
Theoretically, he was supposed to have like the nanotech quiver now, but I don't think he's. I don't think he's.
I doubt he has access to that currently.
I think he has to be like actually doing Avengers shit to have that. He's on his own personal dime right now.
Right. Well, as far as we're aware, he's still probably retired. He's not being Hawkeye anymore. He's probably gone back into retirement now.
No, exactly.
Well, it seemed like that was the plan, and then Kate went and fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole point. So yeah, he probably doesn't have. That's locked up at the Avengers. Well, not even the Avengers compound anymore because that got blown into a crater. Where are the Avengers even based out of now?
There are no Avengers currently.
Well, yeah. Because they're not in and I did like that they did make reference to the Avengers Tower. She's like, can't we just go over to Avengers Tower? Like, Tony sold it like 4 years ago. Like 4 years ago? It's going to be the Baxter Building. We all know that, right?
What's the Baxter Building?
Avengers Tower is going to end up being the Baxter Building.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
It's what's going to happen. They alluded to it in Spider-Man
What's
Far From
the
Home.
Baxter Building?
The home of the Fantastic Four, like Peter said.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, because they definitely alluded to it that in Spider-Man, Far From Home, when he's flying through the streets right before J. Jonah Jameson outs his ass. Which, thank God, it is still J.K. Simmons. It can't be anybody else.
Yeah, he kind of nailed it, at least for the live action one.
It just doesn't work with anybody else.
Speaking of things that don't work without anybody else, Matrix.
Why isn't Morpheus in it?
Oh, I don't get to. Hawkeye. It's perfect.
No,
Oh,
Hawkeye's
well, I
perfect.
wasn't going to score. I wasn't going to give it a score until we finished the whole series.
So far, 7 cats.
7 cats? Fair enough.
I know it's 8 for you, Peter.
I just love Hawkeye.
It's like
the
8.5
whole reason I still
cats.
play that stupid Avengers game, which is really bad, is because it has both the Hawkeyes.
You like that I had like a really nice transition and they still managed to just off the cliff.
100%.
I wasn't done.
We Thelma and Louise that shit.
I'm sorry.
Did this happen in the last episode?
A little bit. It still happens.
She still tried to do her
Her really poor transitions, yeah.
They were actually pretty good last time, though. Like, they weren't bad.
She had one really good one last time.
Yeah,
she had one really good one.
One kind of shit one.
But she had one really good one.
So...
Speaking of good ones, how about we talk about The Matrix?
Keanu Reeves did an interview, and he was saying how couple things with the new Matrix movie. One, they apparently barely did any rehearsing.
What does that mean for the fight scenes? Is my real question.
Yes, like don't these have to be
like intricately choreographed fight
so people
scenes?
don't get hurt?
Hopefully people get hurt.
Super Neo again, then they just CGI his ass.
Weren't they doing most of that anyway?
Yeah.
Because he was doing like Kamehamehas and shit.
It's probably even easier to do that nowadays too, because at least it'll look better than the early 2000s Matrix video game that actually looked better than the last sequence in Matrix Revolutions. Or I don't know, what was that? Reloaded, where he's the really bad one where he's gotten all the Smiths are coming into the like little courtyard and he's like spinning around on the pipe and it looks just so fucking fake.
It looks so bad.
It doesn't hold up. At the time you were sitting there going, "That's amazing," and then like you watched it 2 years later and you're like, "Wow, that's really bad."
Oh, I haven't seen something that ugly in a while.
I looked in the mirror this morning. I saw something ugly.
Yeah, and then he also said that there's going to be a lot more humor in this movie.
The only thing I'm comfortable with on that though is he also said, "Don't expect Neo to be cracking jokes, but there's more humorous situations in the movie," and I'm okay with that. As long as Neo's not sitting there like trying to be funny. As long as it's not a cross between Bill and Ted and The Matrix, I'm good. Though actually, maybe I would enjoy that. I don't know. I did like Bill and Ted quite a bit. Even the crappy third one, which was crappy, but had its moments.
It was good and bad.
It had its moments for sure.
For sure.
I want this movie to be good, but I just don't have a lot of high hopes for it. I feel like it's probably going to be a letdown. I think it's going to look amazing. And I know for sure it's going to be very controversial as far as it happens when it comes out. It's going to divide some people for sure.
Oh, of course.
But I just don't know if it's going to be good.
Is anybody familiar with any of the side stories, like any of the comics or stories that they had on the side?
Watch the Animatrix.
To a degree, but I would have to imagine they're decanonizing most of that.
Yeah. I'd figure like if they had anything that they brought anybody back or anything would kind of correlate to the movie, but maybe not.
Apparently, theoretically, the last thing that actually is properly canon that they're actually treating as canon is the Matrix Online.
Yeah.
The storyline from that is technically canon.
God, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, was
I
that
guess they're
confirmed or
probably
was
gonna
that
use
just a rumor?
No, that's confirmed. Though Lana Wachowski said that's basically where they're jumping off from. That's why Morpheus isn't there.
Neo
see.
back
But he is
instead.
there.
And it
That's
would
a different
explain
black
why
guy.
there's a conflict between the humans and the Matrix
Again, yes.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to be peace at the end of the third
Yeah.
one.
It's just disappointing because that game really blew.
It wasn't great, no.
No.
I mean, it wasn't even good.
No. It was just real bad.
What? You're the racist who thinks that's Morpheus.
I mean, it is Morpheus.
It's not Morpheus.
It's
Does he
not
say
the
his name is Morpheus?
Yes.
No. I don't think he says his name is Morpheus.
In the interview, didn't it say that it's supposed to be Morpheus?
Yes.
I don't think it's supposed to be Morpheus. Pretty sure it's not.
It is.
Well, that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That's why I think in the
They're just
thing
changing
is that
code now?
They're not bringing freaking what's his face back as
Lawrence Fishburne.
into
You're going to talk shit about Lawrence Fishburne now?
to bring him back into the role of Morpheus.
Apparently they didn't even fucking ask him.
So
Like
it
he's
is
done an
also-
interview and he's like, they didn't even ask me.
It is also worth remembering that Trinity, Neo, and Morpheus were not actually these characters' names, but what they called themselves. So it's entirely possible that this new character is still Morpheus, but is not the original Morpheus.
Yeah, it's
He's
a-
just someone else calling himself Morpheus.
It's a code
you know,
name.
Kate and Clint, both being Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It's a code name.
Are you looking it up?
It's his fucking
He's,
screen name.
he's trying to. He's not doing a good job, though.
The only interview that exists for it so far is the actor saying that his character is known only as Morpheus, nothing else.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I mean, because
don't like.
but I mean, if you're talking about this movie, you already see Trinity come back
Okay,
She's reprising her own role, but at the same time, like that doesn't mean that
She's back.
I'm already
She's
upset.
back.
I'm already upset with some of the character names from the new people that they're adding. Though I love Christina Ricci, her character's name is Gwyn DeVere. Jessica Henwick apparently plays Bugs. And you know why I call her fucking Bugs? She's the one jumping around in the trailer with the crazy legs.
She's like the
She's
new
Bugs
White Rabbit.
Bunny. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Why is that? Why does that enrage you?
I don't
so?
know. It's just dumb.
He's a broken human being.
It's just dumb.
Speaking of dumb things, so the
I don't know. Speaking of good things, Neil Patrick Harris
HBO
is
Game of Thrones prequel, after they spent $30 million on a pilot,
Did you look it up? It was $30 million.
they have canceled it.
Good.
right, whatever.
Fucking dumbasses. Though I'd like to see the pilot.
I probably wouldn't. It's probably just full of dicks.
Well, so
Wieners, sloppy
I
wieners.
feel like that was kind
Wieners.
of doomed from the offset because everyone knows where that story ends. So what's the point?
But
It's the reason that I don't watch it anymore. It's like, oh, it has a really shitty ending. I have no warm feelings about the early seasons anymore.
House of Dragons is still greenlit, though.
What's
Yes.
that one supposed to be?
That's about,
It's about
the
Targaryens,
yeah.
the white-haired people who fucked each other in the family and
We-
had dragons.
We kind of know how that one ends too.
We do. Yeah.
Poorly.
Poor.
Everyone's story ends poorly unless
But-
you're Arya Stark.
But with more incest.
Significantly more. Yeah.
They keep their family line going.
Do they have sex with each other and had dragons? Like they gave birth to dragons, or they just had dragons?
They just also have dragons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They have sex with their cousins / sisters / aunts and uncles. But they
Anyone
also
who
have
is the
access to
opposite gender
dragons.
of you, they'll sleep with.
I don't think it has to be opposite gender.
Yeah, to procreate. The whole point of the incest is to keep the bloodline pure.
I like how you said that.
Yeah. You didn't see his creepy face that he made with it either.
Which is why all of the British monarchs have hemophilia.
All right. Well, on
Keeping that bloodline pure. Woo!
that note,
Blood disease.
Gamers Corner is going to be up on Saturday. Extra Bits will be up on Sunday.
I like seeing people's extra bits.
We love Extra Bits here at
Send
the
us your
Extra
bits.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then you can check us out on Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram at
Patreon.
8bit Cats. That's the number 8 BITKATZ. And until next time, geek out, be fabulous, and have fun.
I ate too much chocolate.
Hey, buddy. You know, you can support us on patreon.com/8bitcats or like and listen to us on the podcast platform of your choice. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.